Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Abby's Book Club. So, when I was trying to figure out what sort of subjects or reading themes I wanted to do for August, I discovered that August is actually National Romance Awareness Month. Now, I do not usually read romance books. I have read a few more in the past couple years than I did before, which was zero. So I'm dipping a toe in, but I have discovered that at least at this point in my life, I really am not a big fan of most straight romance books. I don't like most of the tropes. I can't always relate, and so I thought that I would give more of a try to some queer romance. So, with that being said, I have picked 4 or 5 books that I would like to read this month that feature characters in the LGBTQIA+ community. Now, I originally wanted to have all of the books here to show you guys and talk about them before I got into reading them, but of course things rarely go as planned, and I found out that my library is closed for an indeterminate amount of time because there were huge floods in the St. Louis area. So, we're gonna see what happens. But I did go to a different library today, and I found one book which was originally not on my list, but it is now. And that is Something to Talk About by Meryl Wilsner. Now, this book is on my general, really, really long TBR of books that I want to get to at some point. So it's not that it was out of my way to pick this up. I was interested in reading it. There were just a lot of other books that I also wanted to read. So this book is the one I'm going to start with, of course, and I don't know a whole lot about it. I'm planning on kind of updating you guys with how these books go as I'm reading them. What I do know is that this book follows a celebrity and her assistant, and they are spotted laughing together on the red carpet one day, and somehow the press takes that to mean that they're in a relationship, and then it leads to this sort of fake dating trope. So I'm not quite sure how they're going to explain that one. Seems like the logic was stretched a little bit, but I'm here for the general romance vibes and to just see how I feel. So I will keep you guys posted on this one. Now, the other books that I am hoping to get to read are If You Could Be Mine by Sarah Farizan, A Lady for a Duke by Alexis Hall, She Gets the Girl by Allison Derrick and Rachel Lippincott, and The Romantic Agenda by Claire Kahn. I hope I spelled her name right in my notes. But those are the books that I really want to read, and hopefully we'll have some winners, and maybe I'll find out that I do like some romance. We'll have to see. Hello. So I have some good news, I think, which is that my library emailed me to say that one of the books I requested was in, and I am hoping that that means that the library is reopened after the flood. So hopefully I will be able to find out soon, but the book that they emailed me about is one of the books in this vlog. So, and then I also have a reading update. So I am over a third of the way through with this book. I'm on page 114, and so I finally know what it's about. So I thought it was like a fake dating thing, but it's not, at least not at this point. It's basically, I'm not really sure what the trope is called or if there is a trope for it, but I'll start from the beginning. So we have dual point of views. Our one character, her name is Jo, and she is a former actress, but now she focuses more on writing and producing. And then her assistant is the other point of view, and her name is Emma. And Jo is trying to break into a different genre than she's done before. So she has been known more recently for her work writing and producing these, sounds maybe a little bit like Law and Order kind of series, and she wants to write this action movie that sounded maybe a little bit like James Bond. Like, there's been a bunch of them made already, but there have been different writers over the years. So she wants to do that, and she has been getting some criticism from people who think that she can't make the switch. So, kind of to act as a buffer, she asks her assistant to go with her on the red carpet for an award. I can't remember. It's like the it can't be the SAG because that's SAG, but maybe it is. But anyway, so while they're on the red carpet together, Jo says something and they both laugh, and the photographers take a picture of it, and then all of a sudden everyone thinks that they are dating. So they're not trying to fool anyone, but people have decided that they are dating. And it is a big deal, I guess, in this universe, because Jo has never taken anyone onto the red carpet before. So that made a little bit more sense why people would think that a laugh. And it also, they talk about like the way that the picture looked, the way that they looked at each other. So basically, Jo has never commented on her love life, even since she started acting when she was 13. And she doesn't want to start now because she feels like that would make things more suspicious or lead to more questions. And so she just keeps saying no comment. But the paparazzi is kind of having a field day with it. And things just go on from there. So that is, in essence, the main, or at least the beginning part of this book. I was reading the back and it did say that it was kind of a slow burn, which it does seem a little bit like so far, which I prefer. And I've been having a good time with it. I wasn't quite sure at the beginning, the first like 40, 50 pages, I was like kind of bored. I felt like it reads very much like straight contemporary romance that I have read. And I think I'm so used to reading a lot of murder mysteries or books where there's just a lot of tension and where, you know, maybe the chapter ends with a cliffhanger or like something happens so you want to know more. Whereas this seems more just like people going about their daily lives, and it wasn't really enough to get me hooked. But I'm slowly kind of getting more into it and enjoying all the little things that are leading up to their blossoming romance. So I'll keep you guys posted. I'll let you know how I feel about the end of it. But so far, I am actually enjoying it. All right, so I finished this book finally. Something to talk about, and I enjoyed it. It was really cute. Definitely the last half went a lot faster for me. I started to get really invested in their story, and I do really like the slow burn. So maybe this is a genre that could be good for me, or a trope that, well, that I could enjoy at least once it starts to get a little more like will they, won't they. I still don't think it was like the best, most mind-blowing book I've ever read. I think I've been fighting between 3 and 3.5 stars, so I guess I'm gonna say 3.25, but overall it was still a really cute book. I liked that they did touch on the fact that there's a power dynamic. It was also this isn't necessarily something that I would like, especially in real life for me, but I just forgot to mention this when I was describing this book. But there's also an age gap. The producer is 40-ish and the assistant is 27. So, but it didn't actually bother me as much as I thought it would. So that was this one. On to the next one. Alright, so great news. The library is open again, which means I got my books for this vlog. So super happy about that. I think my next pick is going to be The Romantic Agenda by Claire Kann. I know literally nothing about this book. I believe it is a romance and the main character is asexual. That's all I know. It's also all I needed to know, really. So I'm really excited. I will get back to you guys with more of a synopsis. Alright, so I have another reading update with this book, The Romantic Agenda. I am more than halfway through, and I just went to this cute cafe that's also a bookstore in St. Louis. It's called Protagonist Cafe. And I got this little bookmark. I don't know what it is. I think it might be a porcupine. But it's super cute, and it was $4, and it's handmade by the owner. So if you live in St. Louis, go check them out. Like, best vibes ever. Anyway, so this book is about a woman who is asexual, but not aromantic, so she doesn't experience sexual attraction, but she does experience romantic attraction. But she is in love with her best friend, who is also asexual. The problem is, he has always just treated her like a friend. Well, they've never dated, but they are very, very close, and that has actually caused problems in his past relationships. And so he is currently pursuing a different woman, and our main girl, Joy, is upset about it. And she's trying to be like a good friend, but she also wants to let him know her feelings for him. Well, he invites her on a trip to the woods, basically a cabin in the woods, with him and the girl he's trying to be in a relationship with, and the girl's friend. And her, Joy, the main girl, and the friend of the other girl, Fox, decide to start fake dating in the hopes of making her love interest, Malcolm, sorry, there's a lot of names, jealous, because then he'll realize his true feelings for her, basically. But of course, she starts to feel feelings for Fox, and we'll see where that leads. So, again with this book, I wasn't really enjoying it at the beginning, the writing style or the main character, but it has grown on me, and now I'm just speeding through it. I am enjoying it. I do like the main character, but I don't like either of the guy characters, really. The guy that she is in love with, I just think he's controlling, and I know it comes out of anxiety, and definitely I understand I have anxiety, and I know that it's hard, but I don't think it's always an excuse, you know? And the other guy, there's nothing wrong with him necessarily. He's just not my type personality-wise. So in that sense, I'm like, I don't get what you see in him. But I think it's also hard because at the very beginning, he doesn't say, I mean, there's a joke about it. He doesn't say more than like 1 or 3 words at a time. And so I'm kind of just like, all we have is her feelings when she's around him. So I'm kind of just like, I don't know. Maybe it would be different in a movie. I could see him if I thought he was physically attractive or something. But anyway, I'm enjoying the story. It's fun. It's cute. And yeah, I will let you guys know how I feel when I finish it. It's only a few hours later, but I just finished The Romantic Agenda. it was good. I think it's just so awesome that there is a book out there. I know there are more, but still not a whole lot, with good asexual representation. It's just so amazing. I was a little worried at one point that she might like realize that she's not asexual, but that never happens. But they do talk about how it's a spectrum and people have different levels of comfortability and interest and drive and all those different things. I do identify on the asexual spectrum, so a lot of this was similar to thoughts and feelings and experiences that I've had in the past, and definitely familiar with that feeling of wanting someone that is maybe unrequited, but you feel like there aren't that many people that are going to accept you, so it just feels even more desperate for that person to like you back. So I just really think this is so important, and I love that she accepted herself wholeheartedly, because that is something that I still struggle with. I've gotten a lot better at it. Yeah, in the end, I liked it. The other guy, not the guy that she originally is in love with, he grew on me so much, and I liked him by the end. He was cute. Definitely got to see more of his personality as the book went on. So that is the romantic agenda. I guess I should give it, I want to give it like 3.75 stars. Yeah, it was really good. So next up, I think I'm gonna go for this one, A Lady for a Duke by Alexis Hall. This one, I believe, is a historical romance, so that'll be interesting because I usually am not super into historical stuff, but it involves a trans woman who was in some war, Waterloo, and she says she was presumed dead, and so she took the opportunity to live at last as herself. So I'm not sure if she is inventing a new identity, but either way, she is coming out as a woman, and she, I believe, runs into her old friend growing up, and there's some romance there. So really excited for that. Also really excited to see the trans rep, so we'll see how it goes. It's a bit longer than the other two, so I don't know. Hopefully it'll be good. Okay, so I am loving this book so much. I think it's my favorite of the three that I've read so far. I don't know, it's really engaging. I love all of the characters. I think that's a big part of it. It's funny, it's feminist, and yeah, I'm having a good time. So let me move you so the curtain's not in the way. There we go. So yeah, so I am 143 pages in, and so a better explanation of what this is about, we have Viola, and she was injured at the Battle of Waterloo to the point where she almost died, and actually everyone thought that she did die. But she used that as a chance to fully live her life as herself and express herself as a woman. And she has only come out to two people, her brother and his wife, and they're very supportive. Oh, and their kid, actually, so three people. And she is serving as a, what do they call it? Lady's companion or lady companion to her sister-in-law. Well, at the beginning of the book, they get a letter from Viola, I don't really know. But her best friend growing up, they get a letter from his little sister. That's right. She's 17, and she basically writes that he has not been the same since he got back from the war. The friend was also in the war with Viola, and that basically you come to understand that he really misses Viola a lot, and it really has taken a toll on him, mixed in with all the other horrors of the war. It's just all been kind of too much for him. He's fired most of his staff. He's not doing all the duties that he had done as Duke. And so because of that, his little sister is also not really living a full life. She's just kind of stuck at the manor, finding ways to entertain herself. And the sister-in-law, Viola's sister-in-law, believes that it's a big shame, that the sister should be out in the world, sort of having fun. She's 17. And so they decide to go to the manor, and the sister-in-law basically wants Viola to put the Duke in a better mood so that his sister feels more comfortable leaving him. And at this point, Viola hasn't come out to him. She decides not to. So as far as he knows, she's a complete stranger. She feels very familiar to him, but he doesn't know why. They have this instant connection. And yeah, I don't know why. It's funny because I'm not usually a big historical fiction person, but this has just been really great. And it does not bother me that it's so long, longer than the other books I've read. So I'll let you know how I feel when I finish it. Alright, so I finished A Lady for a Duke, and I continue to love it. I got so hooked on it. Like, I was taking every chance I could to read it. I was like being really antisocial at lunch to read it instead of talking to my coworkers, because it was just so good. There was one thing that I forgot to mention too that I really like. This is the second book I've seen that's done this. Let me see if I can find it. Here, there's a content warning. So nice. I'm glad there's authors doing this. But yeah, this was just, it's so funny because I have never finished Pride and Prejudice. I haven't gotten very far. I also know what happens, so that makes it less enticing. But still, I'm not super into historical romance, like I said. But this book, I really liked it. So I don't know if I am more into it than I think, or if it's just that I like the characters better. Not necessarily because there's a lot of queer characters, but because they aren't constrained by heteronormative roles in society, and there's not all this macho insecurity going around. There's a little bit, but they address it. Anyway, would recommend. 3.75 stars. Next, I'm going to be reading She Gets the Girl by Rachel Lippincott and Allison Derrick, and this one was going around on TikTok for a while. From what I understand, it is actually semi-based on or inspired by the two authors' story of how they met and how they got together in college. So it is a sapphic romance. But I do like a good college story, so we'll see. Hopefully it'll be good. Alright, so we're in my backyard, and I wanted to talk about this book, She Gets the Girl. I'm over 100 pages into it. It's been a super fast read for me so far. I'm enjoying it. It takes place, well, so far, it's mostly taking place at the University of Pittsburgh, whichever college is in Pittsburgh, or the main state college, I guess. And we have dual POVs. So we have Alex, who comes from a different city, small town, I think, in Pennsylvania. And she has a really rough home life. Her mother is an alcoholic. She's kind of had to take care of her and send her money. And she is dating a rock star, basically. and her girlfriend tells her before she leaves for college that she, the girlfriend, is very jealous and feels like Alex is constantly flirting with other girls and that she can't trust her. So Alex, when she goes to college, is kind of on a mission to prove to her girlfriend that she is a decent person and that she can stay loyal. The other girl we have is Molly, and she comes from a very loving, supportive family, if a little suffocating at times. And she is very, very shy. It seems to me like she might suffer from social anxiety, which obviously it's not said, so I can't diagnose, but I suffer from social anxiety, and I recognize a lot of the struggles that she goes through and her ways of thinking. It is very familiar to me, which is kind of cool to see in a book. And she has never partied, never kissed anybody, but she has a huge crush on this girl who is from her high school who also is going to the college. And Alex realizes or has this idea that she could maybe help set up Molly and her crush, and that that'll prove that she, Alex, is a good person, so she can kind of win her girlfriend back. So that's what's going on so far, and I'll keep you guys updated with how it goes. Alright, so I just finished She Gets the Girl, and it was so good. I loved the end. It literally gave me goosebumps. Like, it was just so cute. It was perfect. So, would recommend. I think I'm gonna give this one 3.5 stars. I really loved it. Alright, so we're finally done with this romance reading vlog, queer romance reading vlog, and I think I'm kind of surprised with how much I liked these books. I mean, I thought I would probably like them a little bit, but they definitely weren't as boring as I thought they were, or would be, and yeah, I found myself really getting wrapped up in the stories to where most of them were very quick reads for me, at least after the halfway point. So I think that's a sign that I should be reading more, at least queer romance. Let me know if you think I should try again with straight romance. I think part of it, like I said, is that a lot of straight romance that I've seen tends to have these ideas of toxic masculinity, or maybe it's just something that I already sort of associate with them. So, I'm not saying that queer books can't have that, but I think that at least the ones I've read did not have that as much, or if it did, it was very much addressed. So yeah, I mean, let me know any recommendations you have for any type of romance books, preferably queer. And thanks for watching this vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe you got some recommendations for yourself to read. I almost forgot, I did want to rank these books. So I think my favorite, it's very close, but I think my favorite was A Lady for a Duke, which is really, really surprising for me because, like I said, I'm usually not a big fan of historical novels, but this one was just so engaging in the way that it was written, and I just loved all the characters so much. And then second, I'm gonna say She Gets the Girl. Really loved it, especially at the end. Super cute. Third would be The Romantic Agenda. Especially, I think this one was put in third even more so because it's just so nice to see asexuality represented in a book, so I'm a little biased. And then last, but definitely not a book that I disliked, I did enjoy reading it, was Something to Talk About, even though this one did take me a little bit longer to get into, but I enjoyed it. So, yeah. Anyway, that being said, now goodbye for real, and I'll see you guys in the next video.